shadow of the Colosseum. Hickey front board. Wow, that's 2 heavy tricks on the board. I'm interested to see where this goes. Not many people out there doing that. Towards that long rail from 50-50. Kickflip out. Oh, wow. Big 360 flip.
To be invited, I definitely feel honored. I just feel grateful. You know, I'm just in a place of gratitude.
It's so nice at those contests you meet like people from all over the world and see each other every contest and have fun together. I think that's the most special part about World Skate.
This is an amazing course we've got here today. It's a mirrored course, so good for goofy, regular. There's no advantage, right? But what a great course. Focused right now. Shove it! Oh my goodness! Ollie Hill, first goal, are you kidding? Oh, aerial, fakey nose grind, and there it is, getting it done! What? Whoa, are you kidding me? Do that trick that good? No way! First go, looking back over her shoulder. Good afternoon and welcome to the first Street World Cup event of 2025. I'm Mark Churchill and I'm very happy to say that joining me on commentary today is World Skate's Niall Neeson.
How's
Thanks
it
for
going,
joining
buddy?
me, Niall.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark.
So, we've seen over 150 skaters from 45 different countries competing here over the past few days, including the World Skateboard Ranking Top 8. But who's currently leading the charge? Let's take a look. World ranking of 3rd, we have Liz Akama. First time I saw Liz was her doing an amazing frontside big spin signature move.
She's awesome, but she's up on bricks right now, injured, so there's an opportunity for somebody to leapfrog her.
And currently ranked in 2nd place, Coco Yoshizawa.
Current gold medalist from the Paris Olympic Games.
Look at that. So much control, and speaking of control, currently ranked world number 1, Rayssa Leal.
Biggest name in women's skateboarding today, but she's riding with her knee strapped. She looks like she's a little bit ginger on that right knee.
Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't pose too much of a problem, but as we always say, being a skateboarder, you're either injured, getting over an injury, or just about to start getting a new one.
Left knee, excuse me, not right. I'm looking at it in reverse.
So, there are a few things to be aware of with our current ranking system. The World Skateboarding Ranking wasn't reset after the Olympic Games, and it carries on as a rolling ranking. In the case of Street World Cup events, an athlete's 4 best results within an 18-month window determine the overall points and position on the leaderboard. Each country can register a maximum of 3 athletes to a World Cup event. Every athlete in the top 30 is pre-registered. That means that stronger countries like Japan can have up to 6 extra athletes represented here. So 3 plus 6 means a total of 9 athletes. But if you are one of the current 12 Japanese skateboarders in the ranking, you want to secure a top 6 within your position per country within the top 30 of the ranking. So this is actually pretty crazy. Ibuki Matsumoto down to Nanami Onishi, 22nd. All have to hope for a nomination on the Japanese Federation. And that means just 3 of them can go because they are all outside of the internal top 6. So lots of theory to start our show off. And not only the heat is melting my brain, it's all of that system. But if you are struggling with it, check out the World Skate website to find out more information.
Mark, it's absolutely scintillatingly hot out here. It's been a really attritional couple of days with getting through the qualifications, but now we're down to the business end of things, and it's a very strong Japanese lineup, but also I'm glad to say there are 3 Spanish riders in this semi as well.
Yeah, I haven't got a clue how some people have been putting together runs and getting the practice done, and some of those riders are on your screen right now. Heavy representation from Team Spain.
Sensational. It's an incredible job that they've been doing there. I mean, Alain Goycochea, Kenny Gonzalez and Veronica Trio have done an amazing job in bringing this talent through, not just the street and park as well, as we saw last week.
But also Momiji Nishiya doesn't want to make that mistake of not making the cut. You know, that saw her not going through.
Precisely. Just to come back to what it was that you were saying about the internal dynamics of strong nations, Momiji was a gold medalist in Tokyo but didn't make it to Paris. Not because she wasn't good enough, but because the Japanese team is so stacked.
Okay. We're going to get 45 seconds on the clock. 2 runs of 45 seconds. But we're introducing that trick section in this stage of the competition. Up until now, qualifiers, quarterfinals are 2 runs only, best run counts. But we're changing up that format as we start off with Valentina. One of the 3 getting through to semi-finals today. Kicking it off with that big feeble grind on that obstacle. And you mentioned a line earlier. I think he is so fundamental to the success of Team Spain because he's a prolific skateboarder. He knows what it takes to be able to get the best out of people.
Absolutely, probably the best all-round skateboarder of his generation, other than possibly Daniel Cardone that ever came out of Europe, in my opinion.
Wow, beautiful frontside nose grind.
Valentina made semi-finals here in 2023, and she was 24th here whenever we were here 10 months ago for the World Championships. So this is really about big game experience for her.
Yeah, it's not just, you know, getting involved in the competition. It's slowly moving up the rankings, watching your progression. You know, you're getting that score and you're slowly hitting those world rankings. You can watch your progression, but also at the same time, you're getting that really important competition experience.
Yeah, and I mean, every time that you move up a single ranking point, it makes a difference to when it is that you drop in. So we had examples early in the week where people like Israel's Dora Boo, who's an amazing skateboarder, had to drop in at 9:30 in the morning, fell off the backside disaster.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it goes. But we see there, Valentina starting off with that feeble grind. This frontside nose grind was pretty much perfect. That must have felt amazing.
What are your thoughts on being the first person to drop in at each stage? It's got to be terrifying,
It's so hard. I mean, it's terrifying anyway. You've got all of your peers, all of the pros are out here. Everybody's watching you skate. The first person sets that score with the judges. 52.55 coming through. Great first run score. You see a line there, very happy. But you're the first person out there. You get your name called. You're like, oh, you know, it's easier to feed off of what someone else has done in their last run. But Momiji, who's going to be feeding off of Valentina's run number 1, I mean, nothing phases Momiji, really, does it?
Well, I think that she's got a point to make after missing out on the Olympic Games. I've got her down as a stealth winner here, actually.
Lovely backside lip slide to start it off. Heel flip. Something you'll notice with Momiji, she's always got her hands down by her side. That shows just how chilled she is. Her style is amazing, but her trick selection's really good as well.
Probably the person who best exemplifies how much women's street skateboarding has come along in the space of a generation. When you think about what would have won in a contest 10 years ago, now she's doing crooked nollie heels out on hubbas.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see if she's going to be stepping that up right now. Could possibly change that up moving forward. And what's interesting with the people who've been around a little bit longer, they know how to play the system. They know that the judges want to be wowed by changing up a run. They like to see variation. And at the moment, dare I say it, it was amazing, but a little bit laid back.
A little bit conservative, I think.
Just a bit off the gas.
Yes, I think that you're absolutely right. But the thing that is interesting about this heat for me is that usually there's a slightly softer heat and then the heavy hitters come in on the next one. But this one, because of how yesterday went, you've got Rayssa Leal, Momiji Nishiya and Yumika Oda in the opening heat. Yeah. So for the people that are just getting in here and just getting their contest experience, you're up against the biggest names in the game right out of the gate.
Well, we saw exactly that happen in our park competition a week ago in Ostia. You know, you had such a heavy first heat. The second heat came out and they were like, well, wait a minute, we're just playing for 4th place at this moment. The scoring was so high.
You're absolutely right. Mitchie Briscoe made a very good observation about that, about people putting in potential former contest-winning run scores in order to just get 8th.
So 67.92, great first run score there. Momiji's never phased, just like, yep, cool, I'm here to work.
I mean, as we talked about before, the amount of talent within the Japanese squad means that some people go under the radar somewhat. Now, I know that sounds like a strange thing to say about a former Olympic gold medalist, but it's hard to keep an eye on just how good Momiji is.
Okay, Natalia taking a note out of Valentina's book with the feeble to start things off.
Now, Natalia's got a little bit more contest experience out of the Spanish girls. She was 14th in Tokyo and 12th whenever we were in Shanghai for the OQS, so she's been here before.
Yeah, and having that experience, you can almost see it in confidence and in kind of composure.
Yes, I mean, I think it would be a result to get a European skateboarder into the finals here. I think that if we achieved that, that would be something.
Yeah, I would love to see that. So coming down to the last 10 seconds. Big spin front board. And you know what? Sometimes if you fall off, you know that that's not going to be the run you're taking home. You do want to get as much done as you can because that could be the last score you're walking away with. But it does give you a little time to maybe try something and spice it up a bit that maybe you would hold back for run number 2.
It's very interesting that you say that, because one of the things that you notice is that whenever we're in the women's contest, if they bail, they finish their run. There have been other times in the men's contest where people have just had a hissy fit whenever they missed their first trick.
Yeah, and walk away. But now it's so important because you're only taking 1 score from the run section and 1 score from the trick section.
That's right. It's been a bit of a recalibration of how the scoring will be going forward from now.
So street ranking, world number 1. Out of Brazil, still only 17 years of age, and she's a competition veteran, the amazing Rayssa Leal. Run number 1 of 2. Backside lip slide to start things off. Whoa, you could hook a trailer up to that tow bar on the way out, but still getting it done.
The early stages, yeah. We've talked about that before. Your first run tends to be what you might describe as a banker. You want to get something behind you to steady your nerves, and then you can, throw caution to the wind in the next.
Well, that's why it's so important to do a comfortable trick that feels really rad to do. And a backlip is certainly going to give you that feeling. That kickflip frontside board slide is great. Walking around the course a couple of times over the last week or so, you kind of, because we see the tricks that go down on the course, you get lulled into a false sense of security that this course isn't gnarly.
Absolutely.
That big square rail is big, it's long and mellow. You have to have enough pop. So when people flip into it, that's really showing just how skilled you are as a skateboarder. That
big square rail is one thing. That hubba has got a gap out to it, which is like the Cardiel ledge in San Francisco. Everybody goes, yeah, I'll have some of that. And then you get to it and think, you know what, I think I'll pass.
Yeah.
It's all the same to you.
Okay, waiting for that score to come in now. Potentially, this has got what it takes to sit in that first place, but it's still a little bit conservative. We know Rayssa has done some of the highest scoring tricks ever, but at this stage, she's just going to hold it down and want to not have to do anything. But we saw it in Park. People had to put their best tricks down to get through.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't an invitational contest. This is democratic in the sense that any federation can send their best riders through. So you can't rest on your laurels in the expectation that you know what the competition is likely to throw down.
Liv starting things off, hanging on with that frontside board slide. Showing the core strength to be able to ride away from that one. Just cruising around that big platform, getting that speed back up. Popping over the driveway. Whoa,
fantastic.
Wow, burial heel, the way she caught that was so good.
She reminds me a little bit of the American Poe Pinson in the sense that she's got that kind of tall, rangy ability.
There's the crooked grind. That sounded amazing. I want that for my ringtone. How important is it, Niall, for the variation of doing flip tricks, grind tricks, and slide tricks?
Well, we were looking at some of the judging of the highest scores, both for runs and best tricks going back over the previous editions of the World Skateboarding Tour. One of the things that was interesting to note was the consistency of the judging between semi-finals and finals and so on. So there is, if you've got a weakness in your game, it will be exposed.
Yeah, for sure. And we see it time and time again, the people mixing up the tricks, just like Liv, starting off with that frontside board slide. Getting the flip tricks in there as well, especially difficult ones, that's so important. But also being able to get all the way around the course, left to right, back and forward, and hitting the centre section, like we see this big board slide all the way along and down.
Look at that.
Is really important for that overall impression.
Yeah, I mean, well, from my perspective, it's a little bit like telling a Paddy the Irishman joke. If the punchline is the same all the time, it wears off quite quickly. So being able to, as Mike Carroll said, progression goes in different directions. So it's not just about tricks, it's about your overall ability to, jam with it and look like you're in control.
So 37.57 coming through for Liv. Run number 1.
Again, Liv has got experience at this level before. She was 13th whenever we were in Dubai, and she was 16th whenever we were at OQS Budapest.
Maria Eduarda Souza coming in off the bump to rail, frontside lip slide, starting the opposite side of the course.
Total newcomer to the World Skateboarding Tour. I noticed whenever she was skateboarding yesterday, listen to how crisp the pop of her tail is. She's got a pop like a nail gun, which is very unusual in somebody her age.
Yeah, that snap is so essential. And what I've noticed over the last week, watching qualifiers, watching, you know, quarterfinals and stuff, we've got some skateboarders in here that don't have a ranking yet. And it's, you know, if you're able to get as part of that federation, you're able to come and skate. And it comes down to not where you're from, who you are, it's how good you skate.
100%, Mark. And this comes back to the question that I was actually going to ask you in reverse when you asked me what the deal was with the Spanish.
Wow. Very solid run there for Maria.
I wonder what you think about how come the Spanish are leading from the rest of the Europeans in this department. What's going on there?
Well, do you know what? I think facilities at home, weather conditions, you know, and backing from the federation. You know, they've let someone who knows what to do take charge and lead from the front by example.
So I don't know if you recall, whenever we were last here, Lucy Adams was in the booth with us. She's emceeing over there now and doing a great job with it. But Lucy said, wouldn't it be great to have something like a Six Nations for the European countries to be able to work together? I think that what they need is a central facility similar to San Diego, somewhere in Europe that they can all travel to and stay. It
all comes back to facilities. The people who've got good facilities to train at can get good at skateboarding. If you don't have it, you're learning on the fly at every event. 55.98, solid score coming through for the Brazilian.
This also goes back to what you were talking about, the rolling ranking continue on from the Olympics. The rolling ranking allows new nations to be able to join the World Skateboarding Tour without having to overcome a huge point deficit. But at an ability level, these guys are leaving everybody behind.
And someone who's looking to leave everyone behind right now, Yumika Oda, starting things off with a banger. That is a really good feeling trick.
Don't want to introduce a commentator's curse here, but I noticed that Yumika started on the rail closest to us, which you might describe as being the right-hand rail. The left-hand one was where she got absolutely rocked when we were here, and Aoi Uemura got taken out on it as well. And I'm wondering if we've got a jinx in the course there.
Well, I mean, it's so hard when you come back to a course you know you took a huge slam on. And to try and forget what happened when your body's got that muscle memory of pain.
Indeed. Does the heat make any difference to the ability of the rails to slide?
Yeah, for sure, because the wax is melting.
Yeah, precisely, that's what I wonder.
You coat the rails and ledges with wax to help them slide and grind.
Yeah.
If it gets to a certain temperature, which is actually pretty low, the wax is actually dripping off the course. And Peppo yesterday, as I was doing the Instagram live, leaving the course, he was like, hey, check this out. And you could see the melted wax on the platform below it. It was crazy because, you know, we're dealing with conditions of 35 to 37 and it's only getting hotter. I mean, we're up in the treehouse here and it's sweltering.
It is indeed. And if any of our American fans are tuning in and would like to know what that is in Fahrenheit, that's what search engines are for.
Yeah. So, Yumika, eyes on the board, waiting for that score to come through. Something I've noticed with Team Japan, the amount of team members they've got and support, 36.55 coming through, needs to tidy that up to get a high score. So their infrastructure, you've got someone logging the runs, looking at the scores and really analysing every bit of data they can. And I think that's quite important because you've now got these coaches in roles where they're analysing things outside of the emotional side of skateboarding.
That's a very good point, because in the end what we're talking about here is competitive skateboarding. I can understand people who watch this and say, yes, but this isn't like hanging out with my friends at the street and all the rest of it. No, it's not. This is the cutting edge of ability right here.
Coco Yoshizawa, straight in, big spin, front board. I mean, start with a banger and end with a banger. That's always the one. And just going back to your point, there is someone shredding the local supermarket car park right now, oblivious that this competition's going on. And that's what's great about skateboarding, is it is what it is to you. You know, it's your perception and your sport to do whatever you want with. Lovely kickflip down.
I mean, of all this board sports, skateboarding is the one which dominated the world because it's accessible and it's available. It's why the Brazilians absolutely rock at it.
Second biggest sport in Brazil, skateboarding. Coming down to that last few seconds.
So Coco Yoshizawa, excuse me, very interesting case study in the sense that she's probably not the biggest outright talent in the Japanese squad, and yet she's Olympic gold medalist. She timed her run very well.
Yeah, it comes down to timing, trick selection, and ticking the boxes of what's needed. And that takes me back to, you know, that team supporting you, saying, hey, you're in this position right now, especially when it comes to the trick section. You can win doing something quite simple. You know, it's rare, but if you get caught up in it and start trying something incredible and you can't land it, you lose that score.
It's the mental part of the game, isn't it? It's like our friend Bob Sanderson would say, hardest game in the world.
It is, for sure.
But, I mean, good though women's streak at the Olympic Games was. I personally thought that the OQS Budapest that put them through into it was the best women's contest that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Really, really good. And it was like this weird blow-for-blow thing going on. Oh, yeah, that was great. Watch this.
Yeah.
And everybody was feeding off it.
And that's where she pulled out the big spin kickflip, the frontside board slide to send them all home.
Yeah.
That was a shocker.
There you go. Good night.
Yeah.
38.45. Good enough for 5th place. But remember, anyone who's not in that top 3, dare I say it, in 1st place as we go through to the next heat, knowing that you've got the top-ranked skaters coming up next, you need your score to be as high as possible. Okay, back to the top of the heat. Runs number 2. Another 45 seconds on the clock. Valentina straight in. Beautiful frontside feeble. And I was saying it yesterday, you know, on the live stream. It's not just the trick. It's how you execute it, and it's where you do it to be able to get to the next trick. You know, you're putting so much pressure on the execution because, yeah, you want to land it as good as possible and get the best score for it. But it's about how you get to the next trick with the most amount of speed.
I understand. I would have said that something about skateboarding is about the essence of cool, and cool to me means 2 things. It means like grace under pressure, and it means it should be like something being said. So you've got to be emphatic with it, you know?
And also painting a beautiful bespoke picture of the course with your skating that no one else is doing, and that's something exclusive as well. We're not looking at who can throw the furthest, who can jump the highest. We're looking at who can use this canvas the best.
And without jumping lanes too much, you'll probably end up covering that conversation whenever the men's are on and Vincent Malou comes out.
100%. I mean, his run was incredible, as was this. Bit of a sketchy kickflip. But Valentina in 3rd place at the moment, looking to drop a 52.55. But I don't think she's going to be able to do it with
I think her nerve deserted her somewhere there.
And the feeble fall. You know, it started really strong with the frontside feeble, and yeah, you can see it there, 26.74. We'll have to have a nervous wait now. 52.55 is going to be a bit low. You know, Rayssa hasn't got that full pull that she wants yet.
That's right.
Liv can come through as well, and then, you know, Yumika can just turn on that pressure.
Without jumping lanes too much, Mark, we talk a lot about the Japanese and about the domination of Rayssa Leal. What about Chloe Cavell? Is this her time?
Well, never got that win here yet.
Correct.
She needs that to really pair up with all the other wins she's had.
Yes, I mean, I hate to use the expression always the bridesmaid and never the bride, but she's been extremely close several times, but never quite put it to bed.
Well, and she had her debut out here as well.
That's
you
right.
know, with all the emotion coming out, and we saw that lovely consolidation of women's skateboarding. Everyone getting behind her to get that last trick done, and she came through.
I mean, it's not everything about skateboarding that makes you proud, but seeing how the women's scene has managed to flourish is probably one of the best aspects of skateboarding today, I would say.
It really is. Momiji has tidied up this run a huge amount. Crooked grind, nollie heel.
Oh, hello.
Nearly managed to get away from that. And look at her face, she's just laughing.
Fantastic.
Like, oh, you know what? Didn't work out, but hey. Frontside tail slide on a round bar is a dangerous trick, and the judges know that. Your wheels can get trapped under the rail. You know, you have to show that you can ollie that full 90 degrees and then rely on the back of the truck and your tail to get that slide all the way to the end of the rail. Then come out without your wheel chucking up on the last rail end.
So it would be easier to come out forward than to fakie, presumably, in that case, because you had less chance of wheel bite, no?
Yeah. So she's taking it out to fakie as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you see that nollie heel flip there, just over-rotating to the side. And, you know, that comes down to your shoulders slightly rotating. Your legs will always follow your shoulders. 47.21.
I think she's finals bound regardless, don't you?
She's looking good. But I know that she knows about everyone else that's in the field in this stage of the competition. So Natalia back in. Starting off, same side again, looking to really clean this run up. That was a great feeble grind, lovely kick flip. Just a bit of a deck check on the landing. You know, these are the things the judges are looking at. They're so critical.
Also, what you're saying is that, to come back to the point that you made earlier, those rails are beginning to stick, so they're not exiting them with the momentum that they would have done if we were having this contest in spring.
Yeah, frontside 5-0, and the rule is, in practice, you can wax the obstacles. As soon as you get to a certain stage, that's it. No more wax. You're allowed to wax your board, but doesn't help you too much. You don't want to be waxing your truck.
No, you can remember Jagger Eaton attempted to do that right at the end of the Olympics.
He was very lucky to not get the boot out of the competition.
Yeah, because, you know, it could be argued that you could throw somebody off by waxing something just as you're walking off the course. Have that.
So, I think the fall was after time, and this is an interesting point that we should discuss. So, you're coming down, last trick. You've completed your whole run, and you know that if you try something really difficult, which is exactly what you're saving, end with a banger. If you fall, your overall run score is going to be docked massively, because they want to see full completed runs. And if you time it slightly wrong, that fall will be after time. But if you land it, the score's going to be out of time as well. So
not only that,
moving parts.
but if you're juggling the decision in your mind as you're rolling up to it, I would say the chances are you ain't making it at all.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to focus. That was what Alain was telling me from Team Spain in the park competition. We've been working on focus, focus. And he was like staring me dead in the eyes.
To be honest with you, now that his ability as a coach is being noticed, I'd be very suspect if I was the Spanish Federation about a smaller nation trying to poach him, because he's absolutely brilliant at what he does.
So Rayssa already made an improvement. Look how chilled she is. Now, something if you're an aspiring skateboarder, watch how Rayssa moves her arms. So, looking to lean forward a little bit. She brought her back arm round to counterbalance herself. It's like she's like a cat. She knows exactly where she is at all times in the air. It's really impressive to see.
Also, the point that you made about just how big skateboarding is in Brazil, even their national contests are enormous. So she has learned the composure early in her career.
Yeah, and skateboarders are superstars.
Yeah.
Saw Chloe Cavell on the screen there, watching on. And this is the beauty of scoring as high as you can through to semi-finals and to finals. If you're in that first place position or a little bit later in the heat, you get to watch everyone else skate. You get to see how the judging's going, and you get to see what you need to do to beat it. So went wrong on the backside tail side, just slipping off the back, couldn't quite get that balance right, and it might well be because the ledge is a little bit sticky on the way out.
Your point about being able to see what everybody else does is relevant whenever it comes to runs, but it's more so relevant when it comes to best tricks, because to go back to the OQS Budapest, Funa Nakayama, heel flip, backlip, out of nowhere, didn't even warm up, didn't even try it in practice.
So impressive. 49.1 and change. Back to Liv Lovelace. Needs to tidy this run up, get that score of a 37.57 in the bin. Currently in 6th place. Dropping in, eyeing up the big rail to start things off. Frontside, board side, way better that time. The control from the slide to on the way out was a lot better.
You can tell, I mean, Liv isn't what you would describe as a contest purist, in the sense that she's just a skate rat who's turned her ability into being able to put things like this together. I mean, how do you pop a varial heel flip like that and make it lift?
I mean, that's a big step up as well.
Yeah.
You know, Wembley gap, Euro gap, however you want to call it. Lovely crooked grind.
But particularly with a varial heel, it's hard to make it travel because it's folding away from you from the moment you pop it.
Yeah. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, needs to get in and get one last trick done.
She needs to get a wriggle on here.
Forward slide all the way.
Smart enough.
That'll count. But, dare I say it, at this stage of the competition, if you haven't got a completed run and you're relying on the lesser score of a completed run with a best trick score, it's going to be very difficult. We've seen it time and time again. People do really well in the trick section, and then they would have won sometimes if their run score had have been a little bit better.
But this comes to something that I guess you guys will discuss a little bit more later about the switch up of the format to have 2 runs in semis, 3 best tricks, 3 and 3 come the finals. Is that whenever it comes, either, as Jason Rothmeyer said, if you're going to have a best trick contest, just have a best trick contest. The runs are the place in which you can gain ground, because it's very, I mean, if you go into, you're following one of the Japanese guys, or girls for that matter, into best trick, they're going to bag 290 plus scores. So if you're 10 points adrift, you ain't making it back, you know, regardless of what you do.
So Liv jumping up a position there, 39.67, better score. But we'll now have to wait and watch all the rest of the heats finish on our run section. Okay, Maria back in, starting off with a powerful lip slide, but the back foot just slipping off. It is so hot out there. I don't know how they've been able to do it, but wearing a helmet as well, you got soaked foam pads in there. Get a bit top heavy on the head. It's
so hot out there that Roger Ferrero slammed yesterday, and the sweat mark had evaporated by the time he got off the course.
Yeah, I bet. I think you could fry an egg on one of the ledges out there.
So it's interesting. I was talking to Laura Neto, our Vice Director of Skateboarding, earlier about the effect that, you know, we all talk about the effect that Leticia Buffoni had on skateboarding generally, particularly in Brazil. Now we're seeing the Rayssa effect. We're seeing, I don't want to call them mini Rayssas, but Rayssa has brought through youngsters underneath her who have seen what's possible and beginning to emulate it. And this is what, you know, people like Maria aim for.
Okay, Yumika Oda, currently 8th place. Looking to drop a 36.55. I mean, when the pressure's on, Team Japan are some of the masters. You know, how do you compose yourself when you know you have to get a trick or a run done? It's so much pressure, but somehow they just go into a zen state and they're just like, hey, I'm going through it. And chucking in a kickflip frontside board slide, that mid-run is so savage.
I know. But the other thing that interests me about Team Japan is that they're all friends, but they must be intensely competitive with one another for their own personal ambitions.
The internal competition and battles going on to be in that top 6 is fierce. You can see the team shuffling around, who's in, who's out, and then if you're outside of it, you have to be nominated by the federation to go and skate. Yeah. But there's still another 6 people that could be chosen through, and there's only places for 3.
Again, Yumika was the 2023 world champion, and her place is by no means guaranteed.
You see that back toe, Niall, hanging on, pointing and pinching that back truck against the rail for the frontside feeble, but throwing in the kickflip frontside board slide, so important in the run, because the judges are saying, hey, you're putting risk mid-run. You could ruin the entire run by not making
fantastic. There's no other word for it. I wonder, she's got kickflip frontside feebles. I wonder if she'll pull one of those out come best trick.
I would very much like to see
that. That's a spicy meatball.
With a spicy score attached to it as well. So you can always tell when the score's taking a little bit longer, it means the judges are having a little kind of head-to-head. They're like, right, where are we going? We need to score to position, but we need to make sure that that score is in the accurate place. I mean, they're doing a great job.
That means blows are being traded back there somewhere.
59.44, so dropping that earlier score, 36.55, and looking good in second place. So 2 Japanese on the top 2, followed up by Brazil.
In your opinion, who's safe so far?
Momiji, and I'm not even going to say anyone else at this point, knowing what's capable. But Coco might look to make a statement here. Yeah, look at that control. So for me, you can do a big spin board slide. It's very easy for you to be stood quite far over on your board, so front heavy. Yeah. She landed bolts, like feet in perfect position. And the judges are going to look at that and go, that, for execution-wise, is perfect. You can watch the execution look. Yeah. Boom. Hurricane down the rail, lands perfectly with her back foot in the pocket of her tail.
And she's pretty low-key with it. I mean, she's got one of the lowest profiles of any of the Japanese girls. I mean, it's hard to... It sounds ridiculous to say that an Olympic gold medalist has a low profile, but she does. You know what I mean?
I think that was a nose slide. Not sure if it was supposed to be a crooked grind. but that's definitely going to be an improvement of that 38.45. And the big spin coming straight out the gate is very, very big. High risk, you know, you can lose it. Look at that.
Perfect.
Her feet didn't move at all.
Yeah.
Backside tail slide on the step up and sliding a good long way across the rail. And that hurricane all the way to the end. Now, a hurricane is so easy to slip out to a board slide. Yeah, so crooked grind popping out to a nose slide. So I think that will be scored as a nose slide, but it was a make.
Well spotted. I thought it was a nose slide right out of the gate. So the other thing that I wonder about the hurricanes is it seems to be one of those tricks that you're almost coming off it before you're aware that you're on it. And
yeah,
no, relatively short reel like that. So you're doing it more by feeling than sight.
Yeah, and I mean, the trick's kind of blind at a certain point. But we know she can do the big spin into that as well, which is so technical, so many moving parts. But it's that trick selection that sets her apart. And, you know, you're not going to be on the top spot for no reason. You know, trick selection and very well-timed runs.
And they seem to enjoy themselves, you know.
Yeah,
they have a little bit of a
smiling.
holiday with it as well.
Yeah.
That's an important part of it.
So waiting for that score to come through. Boom, 69.16.
So she's safe as well. Okay, we can now say that we think that those two are probably going to go through.
Okay. There you have our run sections. 2 runs completed, both of 45 seconds. We've got 3 minutes warm-up. And then we'll be going into our trick section.
Which this time around, it's probably important to say, Mark, we're running with 3 best tricks, not 5 anymore, for a couple of reasons. After Paris, we had what was called the Paris debrief.
So coming up in our next heat, you see Daniela Tirol carrying on that Spanish domination in our semi-finals. Chenji has been absolutely incredible this weekend, but we see Pamela Rosa, who's back on top form. Nanami in there as well, and the amazing Chloe Covell. It's going to be an interesting heat number 2. Yeah, May not having that world ranking at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to bring through newcomers because this is, I mean, we've talked about there being pressure. This isn't super high pressure. This is, I mean, we're quite a way out from being in any major Olympic cycle or anything else. So this is a really good opportunity for people to experience, particularly because we're here in Rome. It's World Skate's headquarters as well, so everybody's very well treated. It's a nice introduction into the world of the World Skateboarding Tour.
But it also takes me back to what we mentioned on the opener of the show. 18-month rolling ranking. So every 18 months, you're going to drop that last score.
That's correct.
So that could be the 50,000 points for taking a win. And
absolutely.
Then you're only going to rely on maybe a couple of lower scores. So it's really important to keep that high level of scoring and those high points as you move forward to stay in the top 30 of the world ranking.
Absolutely. I mean, the rolling ranking, as we said, it gives an opportunity for not just new federations, new skateboarders to join, but it's also dynamic in that sense because it prevents people from stockpiling, you know, mid-ranking points, from tramlining the same stuff, you know, stop after stop. So as we move forward from Paris into a new cycle, it's important for skateboarding to progress in as many ways as we can help it do so. And using 3 best tricks instead of 5, it makes everything a little more juicy. Of course, you can't X out things that you sketch now either.
Yeah, you used to be able to go, no, exit out with your arms, cross your arms, and look at the judges and say, no, I don't want that to be judged. I'm going to go back and doing it.
Yeah.
Now it's, you can go until you get it better.
Yeah.
And you won't get scored down.
And it's only your 1 best trick which counts along with your 1 best run, so it recalibrates things to make both equal weighting.
So what I'm interested to see, this is the first time we're doing that format. This is the first competition of that format. How do you think people are going to look at it? Are people going to put down a safety trick and have 2 goes at something gnarly? Or are they just going to go, I've got 3 goes to get this 1 score?
I think the better established skateboarders will probably go with plan A and put down something that they know is going to keep them off the bottom.
Yeah.
I would have said that for somebody like Valentina, who's just, this is her chance to shine, come out swinging, just go for it.
Straight in with the frontside feeble. But There is a thing, and there's a rule about repetition, and I'm not sure, but
Nope.
did she put that down in her run section?
Absolutely correct.
So is that now going to get scored as 0?
I think that you'll find that. Don't necessarily think that it will be scored as 0, but I think that it will perhaps score less than it might have done because we've already seen it from her immediately previously on the same obstacle.
So eyes locked on the board. You can see very low score at the moment, 16.62 for first. But you're going to see that leaderboard shuffling around massively in this section of the competition. And that's really exciting because you never know who's taking that win until last minute.
These format tweaks will be very interesting to see how they play out because whenever we were in Austria last week, the Golden Run was mayhem for that reason.
It really was, and I think it was such a welcome addition to the competition. So 76.05 sees Natalia Valentina, up in that first place position. Okay, Momiji Nishiya, we know she's got some of the biggest tricks in women's skateboarding. Let's see where she's going to go. Backside tail slide. I mean, dare I say, like, that's kind of basic for her.
Wow.
But it's a massive trick, a huge trick. That rail is massive.
Yeah.
It's really long, and to hold a backside tail slide all the way to the end like that is special. But we know she's got more, so plan A.
Absolutely butter smooth with it as well. Imagine that was your safety trick. Huh?
Must be nice.
I think it's very easy whenever you watch skateboarding at this high level to forget just how difficult it is. It's only when reality...
Wow, lovely.
Perfect. It's only when reality intrudes and you see somebody stumble off something that you go, wow, it's not actually attached to their feet, you know? They're not sleepwalking through this.
And what's interesting to me is... Whoa, big score coming in, 82.48. She's very happy and saying thank you to the judges for that. And I'm saying thank you very much for being such a stylish, amazing skateboarder. The way she did that trick, she cleared quite a lot of the rail to make the slide a little bit easier. Still slid a good amount of the rail as well. Like, it's all of those little bits.
I hadn't appreciated that. That's a very good point.
Big kickflip to start things off for Natalia.
Unlucky.
See, that's why we got that helmet rule in there.
But this is, this is what you want to see from people who have made it this far and yet no further, is that this is your roll of the dice right now.
Yeah.
You know, just have it.
Well, and especially for some of the newer skaters, they're looking to get a ranking, they're looking to get that competition experience, and it's about being at the competition.
Yeah.
Less, how well can I do? There's very little pressure on those lower ranked skaters.
I mean, fans of European skateboarding might have recognised the guy in the pork pie hat who was just celebrating there is Ignacio Murata, who was himself a really good skateboarder in his generation. He rode for a lie.
Whoa, backside tail slide. That's the trick that took her out in the run section. Rayssa showing full composure.
Yeah.
But you know what? Classic skateboarder style.
Yep.
Walking away from a trick's difficult. And going back and saying, no, I'm in charge, is quite an important thing for the mental game.
I couldn't agree more. There's a real element of heroism in it because, you don't bounce when you hit that floor. That's rock solid.
Very much not. And Mickey Papper will tell you about that.
That was awful. He had a grizzly slam. For those of you that aren't aware, Mickey had a grizzly slam yesterday. It took him a while to shake it off. I believe he's going to come by and see you later on today, will he?
Hopefully he'll be joining us.
Lovely guy, Mickey.
79.14, big score there for Rayssa. 128.28 on the board, but trying to catch Momiji. 150.40 is the score to beat. Liv Lovelace gearing up for getting down.
We thinking long reel here for her?
I may maybe gap to ledge, certainly over that side. Frontside nose grind. Very sturdy frontside nose grind as well.
Just on the subject of frontside nose grinds, it's important to balance them and not what we call snowplow them, right?
Yep.
To dig the nose in.
I mean, you will get scored as a frontside nose grind, and technically it is a frontside nose grind if your nose is touching, but the judges know it's easy.
It's a cheater's way of doing it.
It is a bit of a cheater. If you don't touch the nose, and you'll see on this frontside, this replay right now, maybe a little touch. Can we see here?
But
it's very, very close. I'd say that would be a balanced one. I think the judges aren't going to dock that, but it's so important on the execution side of things. These tricks have been around for a very long time, and they want to see the best possible version.
Good point. But a nose grind down an incline takes a great deal of courage because it's got slam written all over it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're throwing yourself towards the floor. You've got to lean forward, get that balance on the front, but then you've got to use your back shoulder to bring your board out level again. There's so much going on, and it looks basic at the time.
But if you're a degree too far forward, you're picking up your teeth with broken fingers.
Yeah. So Maria back in, going bump to rail, frontside Smith grind, solid, very well execution. Yeah, it's like a firecracker going off every time she ollies.
It's noticeably sharper than a lot of the others.
Well, that's, you know, we should have that discussion. There's no such thing as the same trick, even though it's the same trick. Someone can do the simplest thing, and the very basics of skateboarding is the ollie. It's the foundry of skateboarding. And one person could do an ollie, another person could do an ollie, and they can be completely different.
Anybody can walk into a guitar shop and play Electric Ladyland. It doesn't make you Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean, Jellybean? Yes. Are we having fun now?
You've got so many of those now. I really appreciate it. So 67.15 for Maria. Looking very comfortable, 123.13. But Momiji still holding on to that first place with her first trick. Right. Yumika Oda. Trick number 1 of 3. 59.44 on the board.
Foot. Wow.
Oh, there you go. Kickflip, backside 50-50. Great trick right there. And I mean, talking about moving parts, the judges know every time you flip the board has left your feet. It's so hard to get it back on your feet. Look at that. Backside 50-50 after the kickflip, but it's the timing.
Wow.
Getting your feet back on the board. You've got to jump up, let the board flip, and sometimes you've got to just wait a little bit for the board to rotate enough, but still getting a decent length grind.
And again, if anything goes wrong there, you have the danger of the board deciding that it wants to, like a yappy dog, appear back under your feet again when you don't want it there.
Yeah, the step back on a tron. Wow. 85.79, closing the gap, 145.23. Now, that gives her a really good buffer to try something even more gnarly. Okay, Coco Yoshizawa, 69.16 on the board so far. Trick 1 of 3, going over to her favoured side. Whoa! That was absolutely perfect.
I mean, you can't front on that, really, can you?
You cannot. Kickflip, frontside board slide. I like what you did there. You can't front on the frontside board slide. I think that 7th is about to change. Now, there's one thing kickflipping off of a flat surface. Doing it out of the ramp and gapping over onto the rail is a big deal.
Because you have to recommit your feet to landing on it before the board has fully rotated.
Yeah, you've got to catch it, then decide to put it down on the rail. You've got so much more margin of error.
This is interesting because usually the first heat, as we said before, considered to be
straight up there. Sorry, Niall.
No,
156.82, new leader. That's really set a statement because that's over 6 points ahead.
Yeah, I hadn't expected the judges to come back so quickly.
Valentina, trick 2 of 3. Look at her asking a lot more of the crowd. The shade side of the crowd is absolutely jam-packed and showing their respect. See the foot position. Are we going to see this one? Whoa, okay. This is another interesting thing. You saw her there, like, I could have done that. That's going to be a massive confidence boost. The slam wasn't too gnarly. She just slid away out of it, and I think that'll be a make on the next one. She needs to compose herself and believe that she can do it, because I think that's the first time she's tried that.
Absolutely it is.
Okay, has just been knocked off of that first place position. Is going to look to rectify that.
But sorry, just to finish what I was going to say earlier, the consideration that the first heat was often considered the softer of the two. We may see half of these people, potentially half of these skateboarders go through here.
Whoa, I think, was she maybe going 270 out the front tail? I would have been shocked if she'd just done a frontside tailside to fake it.
You think you could spin around to revert that on that hot surface?
I'm not sure if I've ever seen her do that trick, but We'll see.
That's got to be a flat spot special, hasn't it? Fred Flintstone style.
Rumble all the way out. So, 0 score coming through for the no-make as we swiftly move on.
It would be highly unusual for half the people to go through from the first heat, but we may see that today.
Yeah, we could. I mean, you know, there is a high possibility that no one makes a full run or makes enough tricks in the next heat. I very much doubt it with the likes of Chloe Covell in there. So Natalia, trick 2 of 3. Taking the kickflip now. So you saw that flip, the first half of the flip, straight round, then it almost just stopped.
Why does that happen?
Had to wait. Just not enough flick off of the nose. You know, if you're struggling with your kick flips, just try and aim it off the corner of the nose a little bit. That's what gets that extra flick. You can put a little bit less effort in, and the board will naturally jump up towards your feet.
It also helps to be able to kick flip out of something close to your ollieing stance. You remember Bernard Ray from Belfast? He could kick flip anything out of an ollie stance.
So Rayssa Leal really needs to get in that top 3, but would love to be up in first place. Certainly got the tricks for it, and a frontside blunt that well done is certainly going to help. Wow. Interested to see what the judges say about that. Longest rail in the park, front blunt, but it's execution-wise. Check out this. Locks in, holds it. You see the board dip down. Front foot's getting lower and lower and lower, so she goes, I'm going to pop out now and ride away while I can.
Looks like she got a slight back wheel bobble on the lock in there and managed to ride through it. But this is a contest composure again. You know, she's a veteran of this stuff from back in Brazil.
Well, you'll see a lot of people will panic at that point when their tail isn't super locked in with the truck there. So 87.08 coming through. 136.22.
So, regardless of medals or anything else, she's widely considered to be the pace setter in women's street skateboarding today, right?
Yeah, and it comes down to just how good she is and what she can do. You know, getting out in the streets as well, it's an important thing. She's at the spearhead of women's skateboarding.
She's got a video part coming out for Nike at some point soon as well.
Can't wait for that. Whoa. Seems to be a little bit of an issue with the roll-in. Hear the crowd getting behind her. I'd love to see Liv get this done and move up that leaderboard. 112.01 on the board already. Here we go, coming in towards the big rail. Crooked grind all the way through. Wow. Cameraman was super shocked there. He just fainted, I think.
I was just about to ask you before that, did you think that she had got into what in golf they call it the yips when you begin overthinking things?
I mean,
the answer is no.
No, not there.
Turns out no.
But something on the run-up, she could have hit a little stone. The dropping could be a little bit weird. And when you're trying a trick that long, you've got so much going on. If you jump onto the stairs, you can roll an ankle. If you fall, you can bounce off of the rail, which we've seen here at this skate park before. Then you bounce onto the floor, double hipper style. There's so much going on, and you need to be in the right frame of mind to just commit, let alone hold a crooked grind all the way to the end of the rail.
It's very interesting you say that. Don't let me talk over the scores, but you notice whenever people take tricks in between other people's tricks, it's just to keep the engine ticking over in that groove.
Yeah, and keep that muscle memory up to date.
Yeah.
It's almost preloading the memory card. So just missing that one. 123 and change on the board. Saw Liv get that 74.60.
Given how much that you know about skateboarding back to front from doing this all these years and all the years that we've been skateboarding together, I know you're going back at least 20. Have you never thought about coaching yourself?
I really love doing this. I absolutely love being able to discuss important things and bring skateboarding in a fun way and in the way that I feel it needs to be in a certain way. You know, I love doing this. Yeah, I'd love to do coaching at some point. You know, whenever I'm at the skate park, I'm coaching. Some kids will be trying something. I'll be like, hey, sorry to interrupt you, but if you leant forward a little bit more, you'll do that. And then you get to witness someone doing a trick for the first time, and that's really, really special. I love that. You know, everybody's fallen off dropping in at the first time. Whoa! Huge trick there for Coco. No slide, big spin out the hard way. The 270 shove.
Going to regret not bringing those knee pads now.
Yeah. You know, I love in the women's skateboarding section the smiles, the camaraderie, the fun. And, you know, skateboarding is fun.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's such a special thing. But the camaraderie between all of the skates, you can see that there.
Yeah.
Come on, you've got this. Everybody's hyped. Even if it's the person that stops you from getting into the final, you're hyped for it.
In the end, the activity itself is the greatest reward of all.
So, final tricks. Valentina, trick 3 of 3. It's all on the line right now.
Come on,
getting
girl.
composed. Dropping in with that foot in kickflip position. Whoa, she's done it! Not quite getting in with the back truck, but that's a big maneuver. And moving forward, wherever she ends up in this competition, that's a big trick to be able to ride away from something like that with a smile on your face. You've really stepped over a boundary today.
Talk us through this from a technical perspective, please,
So,
Mark.
kickflip, you're flicking the board over, just missing the trucks. So, the pop side of things, you know, you're willing it over with your front foot, your shoulders are jumping up onto the ledge. Maybe she just went over the ledge a little bit. I mean, it's going to be a good score. It's not quite what it could have been because we've already seen that trick. We know what that trick's going to get scored.
Being able to ride that out, though, without the lock is something, huh?
I mean, especially with the amount of wax on the ledge and everything,
Of
it
course.
could be a whole world of pain. 78.73, great score coming through there. Align is saying congratulations, and so are we in the booth. Like, that's a big deal.
So these are the last rolls of the dice for everybody concerned in this heat.
Yep, final chance for some. Coco's looking comfortable still, 156.82.
What's it going to be here?
Momiji Nishiya coming in, frontside tail slide.
You're right, she's trying to get that 270 out.
Yeah, not quite working out. I mean, you've got a long way to get those shoulders round. You know, a lot of people prefer to do that as a quick trick on a shorter ledge or rail. That one, you're in the tail slide. You've got to wait, then take the 270 out. Otherwise, you're going to land back on the rail.
And it might seem like a semantic difference, but we're looking at a square rail and a round rail here. Which is hard? Not necessarily which is harder. What are the differences between the two?
For me, I grew up skating round rails. They're my favourite things. A flat bar is my favourite thing to skate. I absolutely love it. There's a little bit of room for error on a square rail, especially with 50-50s. Your lock's not so important, but it depends on what you grew up skating. Natalia, come on!
Oh.
Just couldn't quite stand up on the kickflip.
One of the awful things about skateboarding, of course, is that sometimes you can do things so cleanly that it turns around and bites you anyway because the energy transfer is total.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big deal, and that's why the big tricks like big kickflips, hard flips, and you see people throwing themselves down ledges. It's a big deal. Big sets of stairs, off of the ledges, down stuff. You know, there's the impact that you have to absorb.
Indeed. And just when we were talking about coaching earlier, I don't know if you saw there, the camera just cut past Danny Lebron, who's the new Turkish coach.
Yeah,
one of
stepping down from coaching.
Yeah, from judging. He's
He's
one of the golden generation, along with our own JB Gillette, who's our head judge there for European street skaters.
Here we go. Rayssa. Back tail shove. You know what? I was wondering if she was going to either flip in or shove it out. See that? I think she bent down, maybe crushed a bit of her stomach rib cage, but she'll get checked out. You know, coaches, they've got physios now. You know, everybody's going to be very well looked after. But that's the shape of things to come. That is if Rayssa gets through. 136.22. I mean, that could well be the bubble score. And when we say bubble, that's that 8th place position going through to tomorrow's final.
If you're north of that, you're good. If you're south of that, you're watching with an ice cream tomorrow.
Yeah, which sounds delicious as well.
Actually, yeah. Can we get some in the treehouse?
Yeah. Rolling in for speed. Whoa! Burial hill down the biggest section of the park. Worth going for. You know, when you're in that 7th place, you know you need a banger. You've got to go through your trick repertoire. Start scrolling through the pages. Yeah. If I do this, what am I going to get scored? If I do this, what am I going to get scored? And that's what's really important about having the coaches now. They're not so emotionally invested. They'll go, hey, burial heel, that's your trick. You do that down the big section. No one else is doing that out there. The judges have to reward you.
I just wanted to ask you a question.
Oh, not leaning and committing over her shoulder enough on that one.
Back heel shove, it's out. We saw Rayssa do one there. We saw Igor doing it in park. They're almost a recipe for wheelback.
Yep.
You need to be over your trucks on the way out.
Yeah, timing is essential on that one on a ledge. In a park, you know, we saw Igoitz doing it through a corner.
Yeah.
He's shoving it into the corner and trying to keep up with the board because it wants to run away.
Yeah.
Down a ledge, timing is everything.
Yeah.
It's where you come out and it's where your shoulders are at the time to be able to get your legs back round to forward. Front blunt shove! Wow! Bump to long rail. Yumika Oda, you are absolutely incredible and an absolute pleasure to watch skate.
She heard
that
us.
Was proper chilling.
This is precisely what we were talking about. The margin of error here is vanishingly small.
Look at that.
My goodness.
You know, similar trick. You're ollieing over almost into the back tail shove, but front side blunt slide, meaning you took off on the other side of the rail. And same thing again. Timing, it's where your shoulders are, and it's about not too much shove out, not too little either. And on a rail, it's a different trick to on a ledge. Only just, but it is. The judges are going to be looking at that going, that's legit. It's legit. 97.39 to take the lead is what's on the board right now. 145.23, and we'll be looking to drop a 59.44. I think that's going to happen.
Let's find out.
All eyes on the board. Judges locked away. It's a sealed environment up there. I don't even know if they've got air to breathe. 88.17, so she definitely dropped that score and seeing in that third place position, but it's going to be a nerve-wracking rate for her.
So in basketball, the quality that they look for to be able to shoot from anywhere is what they call soft hands. For those kind of tricks that you want soft feet, right?
Yeah. Coco, current leader. No slide, getting the biggie out this time. Did you see that? The way she landed, she was like, have I landed it yet? Yes, I've landed it. Cool. Off I go.
She got very perilously close to a little bit of a toe drag on the back foot.
Yeah, I don't think it touched. Judges are going to score it legit, I reckon.
We're splitting hairs there somewhat.
So check it out. Sliding on the front of the board, which is the nose, and then pushing it round the opposite way than it wants to go. So
she got it.
You're pushing it the way you're sliding. So it's so easy to slip out off the back of the board. You've got to lean forward enough, be committed enough, and confident that it's going to slide all the way to the end to then do the big spin out. Great trick.
You're pushing out of almost zero resistance.
77.53. Seeing her remain up in that first place position. It's certainly looking good so far for Coco Yoshizawa. And we are watching real-time progression of women's skateboarding right here in Rome.
Where would you rather be?
Right here in Rome.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'd like to be on the course closer. I'd like to be watching it right up and close. And, you know, if you're ever wanting to come out, this event is always free. You can just book a local hotel and come and sit in the crowd. Get here early, bring lots of suntan lotion.
And the other thing, of course, is that Rome is one of those great cities for being able to just turn a corner and sit down, have a pizza for 10 euros, you know, and live like a king.
Yeah, so Natalia ending up in that 8th place position, but it's all about that middle pack. They are going to be really worried. Valentina up to Momiji, dare I say, could be having a nerve-wracking wait while they watch heat number 2 skate. Some of the biggest names in skateboarding, including Chloe Cavell, still yet to come. That was heat number 1, so let's check out that leading run. So, run section started really well. Big spin board slide, and the trick section went really well as well. Coco, you know, understated skateboarder. She's so chilled on her board, doesn't really show that much sense of urgency to get to the next trick. She's just going through the motions, letting the training and the practice and the muscle memory be taking the lead, right?
I have nothing further to add. That's a very salient analysis, Mark.
Big kickflip frontside board slide. And look at that face on the way out. Looking very, very stoked. Niall, as always, you are an encyclopedic knowledge of competition skateboarding, and a pleasure that you could join me in the treehouse.
Thank you very much. Anytime, my man. Enjoy.
Brilliant. Enjoy the rest of the competition. We're going to be coming back in around 10 minutes' time with heat number 2 of our women's semi-final here at the World Cup Street Skateboarding 2025. Welcome back to the Skateboard Street World Cup here in Rome, Italy. Semi-final 1 is wrapped. We've seen Coco Yoshizawa out in that first place position. And now it's time for our top 8 qualifiers to take control of the course. They know what score is to beat. They've watched a full heat of runs and tricks that we've introduced. But I am joined by another special guest, Liv Lovelace. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
How's the competition been for you so far?
It went good. I was hurt a little bit, but it was a lot of fun, and I qualified for the first round, so yeah, it was fun.
And what did you think of that last heat?
It was crazy. Like, new girls came up. Valentina did kickflip back 50, was crazy. Yeah.
So here's that current leader, Coco Yoshizawa. Big spin front board to start off that run was so dangerous, but getting very well rewarded. Beautiful hurricane as well. And Coco just going from strength to strength and looking very comfortable. Nothing phases her on the course. And then that kickflip frontside board slide was an utter thing of beauty. The catch, taking the slide all the way to the end of the rail. And really making a statement, 156.82 overall score. Let's take a look who's in the next heat. We'll be starting off with Natalia Krauel, continuing that Spanish contingency. Chenji has been skating really well as well. Funa, so dominant, but we do also have Chloe Cavell in that first place position. Will be skating last, reverse qualifying order. That means she gets to watch everyone else skate first and know what she needs to do. So Daniela looking ready to drop in, but you can see very high temperatures. Liv, what's it like to get out on the course in 35 degrees?
It's crazy. Even like just walking around here is like so hot, and then skating in the sun is like crazy. You need a lot of water, but it's like you get warmed up easy. That's cool about it.
Your warm-up certainly very quick. And are you a fan of this course?
Yeah. At first, like, it was hard for me to skate, but now I like it.
Yeah. It seems to be that way with a lot of skaters. Oh, starting off with a lovely backside Smith grind. I've been seeing Daniela entering a lot of European comps over the years, and her rate of progression has been really impressive. Team Spain are doing so well in this competition this year. What do you think they've been up to? You know, is there something special they're drinking?
I don't know. They're going crazy, especially Daniela, making a lot of progress with like her tricks and learning every contest like something new. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, and her sister skating really well as well.
Yeah. It was her first time, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So for the last 5 seconds, looks like a very well-timed run as well. How much time do you spend planning a run? Do you do it before you get to the competition, or do you get here, warm up, see what tricks are looking good, feeling good for you, and then lace it together?
Yeah, I just roll around the park and see what goes, and then like I fit everything together, like the pieces.
And do your coaches help you like sort of piece that puzzle together?
Yeah, my dad is my coach, and he's like letting me do my thing, and then when he sees like I can do this with this, he helps me with this. But I just find my way. I don't know, just roll around and see what goes.
Yeah, some tricks feel easier on some days than others, and it's just about working out what's good on the day.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, I mean, it's amazing you've got your dad here, you know, like coaching you, like telling you can do it. Sometimes you're in the middle of the session, you just need to hear someone say, you've got it, you can do it, and then your mentality changes.
Yeah.
To know someone's in your corner supporting you is important as well. So you see a line there, coaching and looking after Team Spain, absolute legend. Daniela's eyes are locked on the board, 66.91, really good first run score. You can see she's very happy about that. Okay, next rider up, Chenji Kui. Used to be absolutely draped in plaids, taken them all off now, but her skateboarding has really, really advanced, even in the last 6 months. You know, you see her at a competition, she's got 2 new tricks. And I mean, how important is it to stay up to date with all of those new tricks?
It's crazy. Everybody's learning so fast, but I feel like you have your own tricks and you just like see what goes for you. It's like that's skateboarding. Like you see people can do this, but maybe you can't do it, but you can do something different. So it's just so cool to see like new girls and like little girls like her do crazy tricks.
Yeah, like the kickflip melon. Saw her do a big backside kickflip melon, but that was a flawless run there, ending it on the backside 5-0. Braden Hoban's very happy about that as well. So stoked. So at the moment, everybody is trying to get into the top 8. When there's 16 skaters and you know half of the field have to be left behind, it's pretty nerve-wracking, right? How much pressure does that put on you?
A lot, but I feel like if you stick to your plan, that's like the safest. If you know what your run is and your tricks, you just stick to that. And
yeah, don't stray from the path.
Yeah.
You know, stay controlled in your mind. You know, skateboarding is a mind game as much as it is a physical activity, and that positivity can get you through sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know, there's such thing as a competition make as well, isn't there? You can stay on things that usually you would not be able to do.
Especially in best tricks.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
64.95 coming through. Sitting in 9th place. Just ahead of Natalia. And how important is it to understand what the changes in format mean? You know, you've only now got the 3 tricks at this stage instead of 5. You know, there was a little bit more room for error before. Now it's quite important to get those 3 tricks, or 1 trick done in 3 goes.
Yeah, I think I like the system because everybody has like a chance and to do a trick and do a gnarly trick, especially like go crazy. And but the runs are like really important now, so that's you have to have a good run too.
Yeah, because you're taking that 1 score from the run section and run 1 score from 3 tricks. Funa absolutely smashing it. What would you choose for one of your tricks? What would be your gnarly one to go to?
I don't know. I was thinking about front crooking this hubba here, like Funa.
Yeah.
I didn't try it yet, but I was thinking about it.
And like you say, like that competition make, sometimes you're just like, you know what, it's on the line, I'm going to do it. I'm going to let that fear slip away and just jump on the ledge. It's quite intimidating, that obstacle, because you've got the gap in front of it, then you've got to get onto the ledge. I feel like that's a mind game obstacle, you know. If you ignore the gap and just get on with it, it kind of doesn't exist, but it's still there looking at you.
It is. It doesn't really bother you by skating because you're going to clear the gap anyways, I feel like, but it's just like for the mind, clearing the gap is so scary.
So Funa getting both frontside and backside crooked grinds on the ledge. Getting a solid run down. As we always know, Funa always comes through in the run section. 72.08. So let's talk about strategy, Liv. Only 2 full runs in heat number 1. That kind of opens up things for heat number 2, right? And they're going to be sitting watching and going, right, I could maybe pull back a little bit on the difficulty.
Yeah, I think it's cool to be in the second heat to see what other people are doing and how hard their run is, or if they even land the run. So now they can go a little bit more safe, I think.
Yeah, for sure. They can just sit there and go, oh, okay, not so many runs. The likelihood of getting into that top 8 is a lot higher. May is absolutely tearing it up at the moment. Still just under 20 seconds. Lovely kickflip there. Not looking very phased at all about being in the competition. Sprinting across there. Love that she chucked in a little cheeky ollie 1 foot. There's the gap out to lip slide. And sneaking in the 5-0 just before the buzzer. I think there was maybe 2 more tricks than anyone else is doing out there.
Yeah, a lot of tricks.
showing real hustle on the course. So good to see. And what do you feel about the younger generation? They've now watched a few cycles getting towards the Olympic Games. They can reference that and start looking at how they piece their runs together, but they've also got new heroes to aspire to be. You know, what motivates you in women's skateboarding to advance and get better?
Like, I was inspired by a lot of girls who are here, like Rayssa always, but yeah, for her, probably it's Momiji and, I don't know, like Rayssa still. And I think it's cool to see, like, a young girl like her here and, like, doing a crazy run, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely 70.34 coming through. Looking very comfortable for May, but just outside of that top 8 still, as we take it over to Brazil's Pamela Rosa. I was saying just before we started, I feel like she's back on form. The last few competitions, she's just not quite got it together, but she's looking really composed and way back to her powerful skating style again.
Yeah. The first trick, like from the top front lip, is so crazy. It's so long, and you have to really pop on to it to, like, get to the end of the rail.
But Pamela's got that speed as well. Whoa, just missing the crooked grind, not leaning forward quite enough. But I always say it's Pamela Power Rosa. She's so powerful, and she goes really fast. And she's got the advantage of skating faster and doing gaps to tricks as well. And I feel like, you know, I really want to see that power used when she drops in. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Frontside Smith grind. I'm not sure if that was on or after the buzzer, but we'll be relying on run number 2. And at this stage in the competition, well, maybe not this competition, but when you're usually in this stage, getting a full run is so important. But with so many skaters in heat number 1 not getting full runs, heat number 2 has got a distinct advantage so far. So Pamela just needs to run through, let the muscle memory take control and get that full run down, and she's going to be looking very comfortable. So back to Team Japan. Nanami, 14 years of age, ranked 22nd. Starting it off with that backside 5-0. That's so gnarly on that rail. They bump to that. So much can go wrong, and you see her pinching that back truck with her back foot. What's it like to skate against those prolific Team Japan skaters out there? Because they are relentless on the course.
It's so hard, but I like it. It pushes you to do, like, new tricks and just go crazy like them.
Whoa,
yeah.
Trying to get that frontside nose grind slipping off. Yeah, I mean, there's something about that session mentality that's going on, certainly in the warm-up sessions. If people are ripping, it makes you want to get shredding as well.
Yes.
That one will be after time. And, I mean, that shows the importance. If you miss one trick, it's not just you're failing to get that completed run, but your timing is out the window, right? So we'll be relying on run number 2. You might be hearing helicopters circling around, and I'm hoping that it's people trying to get a good view of the street course and not the massively tourism spot of having the Coliseum right behind us. 23.25 coming through. So far, May is right outside of being in that top 8. We're going to see that leaderboard shuffling around again. Ibuki dropping in, just missing that frontside feeble. So when you're approaching your first run, do you start with a banger, end with a banger, or do you just do something that feels really good and gives you confidence moving through that run?
I mostly start with a banger, but which I have pretty safe. And then in the middle of the run, I do another, like, big section trick, because at the end I don't have enough power to go on the big section. That's why I'm doing it in the middle. But yeah, I start mostly with a banger just to have something to give me, like, confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because, you know, each person plans their run differently, and that's what's great about skateboarding. Everyone's skating on the same course, but no run's the same and no tricks are the same. Solid run there for Ibuki. So Liv, tell us a little bit about your training and fitness regime. What do you do when you're not at competition to stay fit and to stay up to date on your skateboard?
I'm in a sports school, so I have a lot of time to go skate. I mostly go in the morning before school, and then go to school for 2 hours, and then go skate again. I go skate every day, and I go to physio just to keep my body right. And at this evening, I go mostly street skateboarding, or I just do something different in skating.
You've just described every young skateboarder's ideal situation. I hope you know how lucky that is to have a skate school and to have the majority of your day based around skateboarding. That's so cool. You're well lucky. Okay, Chloe Covell, our first place qualifier through from quarterfinals. Dropping in 45 seconds on the clock. So chilled. Her style is really, really utterly control-based. She's so comfortable on her skateboard. Even a frontside 180 over driveway looks incredible. And that's setting her up for that switch flip. Backside Smith grind down that hubble edge. Following it up with the crooked grind. She's planned this run so well. What do you think it is about Chloe that just keeps her so highly ranked and sees her winning so many competitions?
I feel like it's her consistency, and her runs are really, like, perfect.
Yeah.
Like, she has everything. Big section, switch, technical. Like, she has everything. She's just, like, crazy at skateboarding.
And I feel like it's really important now to throw in switch tricks into your run because, you know, people are doing them. So it's almost like if you don't, you can start falling behind. And they're very well scored tricks.
Yeah.
So those replays started off with a lovely frontside nose grind. Over crooking it all the way down that rail. The crooked grind. Always good to see those back-to-back tricks. Frontside feeble. Such a really rad feeling trick. You see that back toe hanging over and locking that back truck and the wheel against the rail. Full control and all smiles. Very happy to have got a full run out the way. 81.31. That sees her in 8th place already. Big score coming through from Chloe. Funa now outside of that top 8, sorry. How good does it feel to get that first run done and out of the way?
Yeah, it boosts your confidence, like, really. Then you're confident to step up your run, and for your best tricks, it's really good too. Like, a good first run is, like, the best feeling, I feel like.
Oh no, looked like she didn't know whether to go forward or fakie on that. Shoulders just not turning around enough. Started off really well, and so well that it glitched the camera out. Too much radness coming out of Daniela. Coming down to that last 10 seconds. Maybe getting a little try at something she'd do in the trick section. No, going back to the Smith grind. And I mean, you don't get good at skateboarding by walking away from certain tricks. You've got to go back and try. And somehow it feels impossible at first, doesn't it? And then suddenly it gets close and you go, oh, I've got it. I now know what to do. And, like, what I love about skateboarding is something that you found impossible at first can then become something you can almost do every go. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so weird. Well, I love it. Skateboarding.
Backside Smith grind to start things off. And then that's where it went wrong. Yeah, not quite getting enough speed on the way into that. But going back and getting the Smith grind after falling as well. 23.69. We'll be relying on that first score that came in. 66.91. And we'll need a big score to bolster that in the run section. Back to Chenji. Currently in 12th place. Oh, beautiful backside Smith grind. I feel like Chenji has grown about 1.5 feet since I last saw her. Lovely frontside blunt slide transferring over. She's lost all of the pads, which were probably weighing her down at one point. Here we go, we're going to see it. Yes, we are. So how important is it to do different tricks on the course than anyone else, Liv?
I love it. I love different tricks and runs like hers. I think that's part of skateboarding, that everybody does a little bit different, and it gets scored like crazier if you do something different than everybody else.
Backside 5-0 to finish off that run, right on the buzzer. Braden saying, wow, solid run. And I mean, the judges are almost looking for those different tricks, right? If you're going to see 200 crooked grinds on the cover back-to-back all day from loads of different skaters, and then someone does a back tail, it stands out, doesn't it?
It does.
See that front foot barely hanging on there. See her pumping really hard out of that trick, and that's the different one we're talking about. She almost doesn't need to go that far because she's still landing on the ramp, but she just wants to pop it and have a lot more time to be able to get that grab out of the kickflip. So another full run, 69.61. She's not in saying yet, but still in that 11th place position. And that's where we're going to see riders like Chenji start going and bouncing up through that ranking when it goes down to the trick section. So Funa dropping in, familiar spot, taking a board slide all the way through. Frontside nose grind not working out for her. This looks like a little bit of a conservative run, but maybe she's playing the game and getting the full rundown that she needs. So turning it around in the axle stall. Having a breather, frontside crooked grind looking so good. I mean, having the second highest score in the run section means you can be very comfortable out there and maybe just work some stuff out and keep those muscles moving. Whoa! Big one, heel flip frontside board slide. She's saying, nah, I'm done. That'll do it for me. Gonna be very happy with that. So, say you've got your full run down. Do you have a backup run that would maybe be a lesser run for your first run that you can rely on? Or are you going to go back and try and get that banger run done twice?
I usually start with an easier run, but sometimes I do just like go all in and then I try like my first run. And, yeah.
Is that because you're feeling comfortable and things are working out? You'll be like, you know what, I'm just going to put the bangers in?
Yeah, sometimes you need it too. Sometimes you just have to go and do your best, I feel like.
Yeah. And do you react to what the rest of the skaters are doing on the course? If someone puts down a really heavy run, do you go, right, I'm just going heavy run?
Sometimes, yes. But I mostly stick to my mind with, like, I know which run I want to do first, and then I just stick to it and see what works.
Yeah, gap out to board slide. Only person doing that one so far. May is absolutely crushing it. 25 seconds left. Into the big section again. Frontside Smith grind. There's so many good skaters from Japan. Anyone in the top 30 of the world ranking is pre-registered, but only 6 positions per country available, plus the 3 that you can get nominated for your country's federation. Oh, lovely frontside lip slide. So you got this internal battle that we saw going towards OQS, and as the amount of riders that are able to go forward to the Olympics got less and less. But if you're in a country that's got less of a battle in there, you're kind of guaranteed, right?
Yes. That's cool.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, that's a cool part about it. But I would like to have more girls in Switzerland just to skate with, and like I love to see like the Spanish team all together and they could like train all together. We in Switzerland don't have that much girls skating, so I hope that changes in the future.
Yeah, if you're tuning in from Switzerland, go and pick up a board. Like, come and get involved.
Yeah.
71.37 coming through. So what would you say to any of young girls looking to get into skateboarding, especially competition skateboarding?
I feel like just try it. Don't be afraid of going to a skate park or just to skateboard. And yeah, it's fun.
Big frontside lip slide to start things off for Pamela Rayssa. You know, we've talked a lot about Team Japan, but Team Brazil, all of that passion and a huge history of competition skateboarding. So many good skateboarders, but skateboarding is the second biggest sport in Brazil next to football. So that tells you how many skateboarders are out there. Looking good so far for Pamela. Looks to have calmed her nerves down. Might have had first run jitters. Coming down to that last trick, seeing her taking a breather. Needs to get this trick done. And it's in the bag, looking so comfortable out there. And now she knows she's got that full run that we saw so little of in run number 2. That's going to really, really help her as we move on to that trick section of the competition, where we will see 3 trick attempts anywhere on the course for each skater. Lovely, gapping up onto that rail. How much do you feel that the course design lends itself to the format? Do you feel like some courses are a bit harder to get around in the 45 seconds, or do you feel like some are, you could maybe have a little less time?
I feel like this course is pretty good for doing runs because it has like a lot of flow. You get to the obstacles like really fast, but yeah, some courses fit better for doing runs and some fit better for best tricks. I feel like this course is pretty good for both because it has a big section, but has a good flow too.
Sure, there's that lovely backside 5-0. Yeah, I think it's a well-rounded course. It's mirrored, so it's good for regular and goofy skaters. Equal for both ways. There's the feeble grind. Looking very comfortable out there. We saw Pamela's score come in of a 64.55, which is a huge deal to get that full run. That's really going to help her on that trick section. Front side nose grind, that's a big one. Do you sometimes get a trick landed and then exactly what I was going to say? You then turn around with something like an axle stool and it doesn't work out. You know, that's got to be really disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes you just get nervous during the run. You just like, oh, I'm almost half through, and then you bail like the axle saw like here. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's skateboarding.
Yeah.
Some days it feels like you can't fall off. Some days it feels like you can't land anything. So, Nanami just falling off that axle stool right at the end of the run. It will be counted. But she's still all smiles. Waiting to see that score come through. It's going to be an improvement, I would have thought. But I'm no judge. How much attention do you pay to the criteria that the judges want? Are you like planning your run around what they want to see?
A little bit. I know what they like, and I know that they'll like big stuff and like they like when you flip your board or go switch. But I feel like I just do what I can do best, and I just try what goes for me. And then I know what they want, but mostly I do what I want.
That's good. I like that. Skateboarding is what you want of it. Jumping up to frontside 50-50. Ibuki currently in 15th place. Lovely frontside nose grind. Front board. Just reeling them off. Back-to-back tricks. Lovely kickflip backside lip slide. You're not going to see a better one of those today. And a backside Smith grind to finish things off. Way ahead of time, but I still feel like there was enough in there.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be way up there on the scoring. How do you stay positive when you don't really get the score that you feel like you might have? Does that affect how you go on with the rest of the competition?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to stay positive, but the best tricks are sometimes like the safety. I feel like when your runs don't go best, you still have the best tricks and go crazy then. So I like this format.
Yeah, I do. I like that it's changed. I like that the skaters' representation was consulted on it, and you know, hey, let's change things up a bit. Let's get the best out of the skaters and let's showcase skateboarding for just how good it is and how difficult it is, because it's very easy to watch at home and see people landing tricks every go. It ain't that easy. This is the best of the best out there. So, eyes locked on the board, waiting for that score. It's a big one, 79.86. That sees Ibuki in 9th place, just outside of the top 8. Chloe is sitting on 8th place right now. It's going to be going on to the trick section, and that's going to change a lot. That will be coming up after run number 2 for Chloe Krauel. Got the highest run score so far, 81.31. Starting things off with that nose grind again, ollieing over, pinching it down the rail. Yeah, there's the Suski grind. Tweaking over that backside 5-0 grind. Love the way she's getting the frontside 180 to get the switch flip. She's got the highest score ever in a semi-final as well. Backside Smith grind down that gap to Hubba. And I mean, I feel like Chloe's a great ambassador for the sport and for young skateboarders to aspire to be as good as. Just missing the kickflip backside tail slide. I reckon that would have beaten the first run score. What do you think?
Yeah. But I love that she stepped it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking really comfortable before you get through to the trick section, you know you're going to be dropping one of those. It's a good time to work on something and try and boost it up. I mean, with a full 54.45, respectful score anyway.
3 tricks attempt. So please, for all the skaters, you have 3 minutes of warming up again, and we are ready to jump in the second part of this.
So that is our trick section, and here's a comparison. Grade out scores are from heat number 1. Chloe up there, 81.31, and closely followed by Ibuki, but Coco Yoshizawa 69.16, Momiji Nishiya 67.92, and then you see that comparison going on down there. Pamela Rosa 64.55, and then Yumika Oda 59.44, and Maria 55.98. So that tells us a little bit about what we saw in heat number 1, right? Not so many made runs.
Yeah, not that many.
And then showing just why our riders that qualified higher through from quarterfinals are all in that second heat for a reason, because they're able to get those solid runs done and be able to compose themselves when it matters. And it's going to be mattering a lot as we take it to the next section of the competition. Each skater gets 3 attempts at a trick anywhere on the course. Now, we see the majority of the people skating that big section, right, Liv?
Yeah. It's like the best way you can do it. You know, it gets like high scored, and yeah, it's the easiest way.
But there is only 8 people available to go through to finals. So taking 16 down to 8, it's a heavy chop, but it has to be made, and everybody is just looking at making it through to that 8th place position. But as Chloe Krauel had, she's been able to watch everyone else skate and adjust on the fly if needed, see what is scoring well and see how everyone else is skating the course. So you want to finish in that 1st place position today for sure. Also a confidence booster. You know, you do well in that competition leading forward to the next day, you're like, yeah, I've got this. And staying positive is almost half of the battle, right, Liv?
It is. You have to stay positive, even like the runs don't work. The best strikes are really important too. If you land your best strike, it might work.
So last 10 seconds of warm-up. Be interesting to see what we're looking at on the side of flipping into tricks. Saw the kickflip backside 50-50 on the gap out to Hubba. We've seen Momiji trying to get that crooked grind nollie heel flip out. As we take it over to Spain's Daniela Krauel. Trick number 1 of 3. Whoa, gapping out off of that launch to front blunt. Now, I saw a few days ago, she was trying to get that done in practice, and there seemed to be a battle in her mind going on of just committing to get it done. But to go straight to that as trick 1, that shows that she's won that battle and able to get control of it.
Yeah, she told me about trying it, and I tried it last time, so she wanted to try it with me. And in practice, she tried it, so I was really hyped for her, and now to see her do it in the comp is really cool.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like that first attempt to unlock the door to the trick is, you know, it's really difficult, but I really hope she gets it in this part of the competition. And it's always good when someone else has done something or is trying it, and it's almost like you're getting in the session. Who's going to land it first? Chinji just missing that kick flip down the big section. Looked like there was a bit of a timing error on that one, but I'm sure she's going to get it done. So Funa Nakayama, front side nose grind, looking very comfortable on that. Don't think the nose touched on that one either. And I was saying to Niall on heat number 1, it's not just, especially in the run section, it's not just getting the trick done. The execution is so important.
It is. Like, that's like skateboarding. A normal kickflip is not as good unless if you pop it and flick it. It's like, you have to do it good.
Yeah. And I mean, more so in the run section, doing it good means that you've got access to the next trick, but that sees Funa jumping straight into 4th place. That shows how important it is to have that good run section score. So May coming in for trick 1 of 3. Really interested to see where she goes. Whoa, going front side 5-0 back 780 out. Really? Or was that just an error?
I don't know. It looked like it.
Well, if it is, that's going to be a huge score and an MBD. Never been done. Excited to see her go for that again. Okay. So I feel like Pamela needs to get a confidence booster. I feel like she needs to get a trick down and know that she's getting through to the final, because it can happen with a high score right now. Frontside nose grind. So, this is an interesting thing. When you see someone do a trick and it comes up with a score and you're like, oh, you know what? I've got that trick and that was a great score. Would you then change what you're doing and go, I'll just do the nose grind because I know I'm going to get a score that's good?
Yeah, I feel like if you know you can do it easy for use and you know it's like a good score, go for it and do it like... first score is important too, like to step it up after. So if you know you can do it, try it.
Cool. Yeah, it just has to be one of the tricks in your bag. And there's a lot of tricks that I'll try and keep in a bag, especially for this competition. 72.49. That sees Pamela slightly higher on that score coming through for Funa, but just sitting below her in 5th place. And again, showing how important that run score is. Frontside blunt slide. Love seeing that emotion coming out. Hands straight in the air saying, yes! Getting it done. So 55.43. It's going to be a long stretch to be able to get a high enough score in this section and get through. Bubble score at the moment is 123.13 for Maria. But big tricks like that is certainly what you're after. Looking very happy out there. Probably more happy to be in the shade, actually. It's so hot. Huge score, 84.18. And that sees her bumping Pamela Rosa down into 6th place and slotting it into 5th place. 2 failed runs, though. Okay, you can see our glorious filmer, Nick, getting in position for that kickflip frontside 50-50. Why don't we see so many of those and see more of the backside version?
It's harder because the kickflip mostly goes back, and if you have to go frontside, you have to really pop and push it forward. So kickflip back 50 is easier, I feel like. Yeah.
So if you've got that flick where your board can just spin really quickly and hit you in your feet,
yeah,
you can guide it a little bit quicker to the frontside 50-50 because you're a little bit blind on that one as well. Okay, trick number 1, Chloe Covell. I heard rumours of nose grind nollie flips going down earlier. Let's see where she goes. Certainly getting geared up. Frontside 50-50, kickflip out. First go. That is ridiculous. You see she got that cross lock so she could get her foot moved into that kickflip position. And she is going to be very happy to get that first trick done. That now gives her a little bit of wiggle room for the next 2 tricks. But kick flipping out quite early. And a good choice because that rail finishes a little bit low. You're going to give yourself a little bit more time to get the board to flip round. But that is her trick, isn't it, Liv?
It is. And she does it, like, so perfect. Her kick flip is, like, flipped.
So highest run score and now the highest trick score. And that means Chloe Covell is our new leader. 172.57. Massive score coming through. Looking like it would be impossible to get up there, but the rest of our field is definitely going to be trying to battle her as we go on to second tricks. Daniela Tirol, come on, get it done. Just slipping away. How gnarly is it with this weather altering how the wax works on the obstacles, because it's literally dripping off of them.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Sometimes it sticks and then it slides. I always have a wax in my pocket just to wax my board all the time because the wax goes away pretty fast in this weather. Yeah.
But once you get through practice, you're not allowed to wax the obstacles, are you?
Yeah, but you're bored, so.
Yeah. Okay, missed the first kick flip. Looking like she's coming back to it. No, changing it up. Whoa, switch frontside lip slide. That is a massive trick. No one else out there doing that. Where do you think the judges are going to go with that?
I think they love it. Switch trick and a new one. So cool. I feel like it's going to be high.
And looking on the leaderboard, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but Rayssa is on 8th place position with 132.22. After this score comes in, we could see her not going through to finals. That's a big deal. But that shows just how well everyone's skating. But do you think that Rayssa's knee injury is maybe causing an issue?
I feel like yes. Her run didn't work out today, so that's hard for this system. But yeah, maybe it affected her.
There it is, 87.11. Seeing her sit into 3rd position. And that does mean that Rayssa has now been pushed out onto 9th place and outside of that final position. And Pamela Rosa has been replaced on the bubble spot. She needs to get a heavy score down and at least get mid-pack to be able to maintain her position. Funa Nakayama currently in 6th place. 144.19, stepping up to a very easy frontside crooked grind, apparently. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
Oh, eyeing up a heel flip version, it looked like there. That'd be nice to see. So looking to drop a 72.11. And that score's going to come through very shortly. Yeah, she's definitely eyeing up a heel flip in.
It looks like it.
So coming back across the course, you see popping up, landing all the way along that rail quite far. Halfway, that pinch with the front toe is so, so good. You know, sometimes some tricks are just your trick, right? They really work out for you. What's your go-to trick that you know you can do when you need to?
For me, it's front feeble. I learned it pretty early, and now I can do it almost like a front board. So that's my go-to.
I love a front feeble. Such a good feeling trick. Okay, May, trick 2 of 3. Going out for that frontside 5-0. She's grabbing her helmet there. Knows that it is all on the line with that third and final trick. If you could go and whisper in her ear now, what advice would you give her, knowing she's got one last trick attempt?
I'd just say stick to the plan. I feel like if she does it, it's gonna work. And like the scores are pretty high, and she has to get like a good score in. So I feel like she has to go for it.
So Pamela is on the bubble, needs this good score to come through. I think she was going back Smith then from the body shape. And now she knows that it's all on the line on that third and final trick as well. She needs to tune in quickly and take your advice. Trust the plan.
Trust the plan, yeah.
So 0 score coming through. So gnarly to be on that bubble, but very close to it. Only a couple of points ahead. Nanami Nishi. Back 50-50, kickflip out. Not seen that one before as well. You can see your hand on mouth straight away, like, whoa, I got super close to that.
I saw her like doing it on Instagram, and she can do it pretty good.
Yeah. But this rail, you need to get that pop out the end of it because there's not that much time to flip the board. Especially with the backside 50-50 as well. Okay, Ibuki Matsumoto, 13th place, 79.86, needs to get a banger. Kickflip frontside 50-50 done that well. Certainly is a banger, Liv. Woo! That was absolutely perfect. And look where her arms are. Yeah, chilling.
Hands down.
Look at that. Perfect execution. Both wheels locking against the ledge. She was just along for the ride on that one. But exactly like you were saying, if you've got that flick and you can get that really good kickflip fast, you've kind of got access to that trick. 86.91 sees her jump into second place position, and that now means that Pamela is now in 9th place, bumped out of the top 8 going through. She needs to get that third and final trick done, or it is not going to be possible as we go to last rider of second trick attempts, Chloe Covell. Trick 2 of 3. Front nose grind, nollie flip, it came round. That is going to be a huge score. I mean, that has become kind of like, well, Shane O'Neill opened the door on the crooked grind, nollie flip out. You know, Chloe's following in his footsteps, that technical skateboarding. It's so difficult, but it blows my mind to see it in competitions.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have to you have to have it, you know. I don't have it, but she has like the perfect flip outs, and it's crazy to see.
So Daniela Tirol playing the game very well there. Going over, stepping away from something that wasn't working, putting it to bed, and coming over and doing the backside Smith grind and popping out really, really well. Check out that. The judges are going to love that. So at the moment, we've got Nanami on the bubble with 2 bailed runs in that 8th place position. Daniela's got that 66.91 from the run section. Not the highest of scores, but I think a backside Smith's going to be a big one. Yep, that sees her on the bubble position, 143.69, and Nanami has now been pushed out into that 8th place position. Great skateboarding by Daniela, and it's so good to just step away sometimes if it's not working out.
Yeah, sometimes if you know you have something better and you know you can do it, just do that.
Oh, and you can see Chenji trying to do exactly that and go for the kickflip 50-50, but looking very safe in that 4th place position, 156.72 score on the board. So at the moment, Pamela Rosa yet to do her last trick. She needs to get back up into that top 8. But Funa Nakayama has got 144.19 score total, and looking to change that. Drop of 72.11. Whoa, yeah, we were right. Heel flip, frontside crooked grind. Do you think that that would have been battling Chloe's score for best trick?
Probably. I don't know what score it would get, but it's so hard to do. Like a heel flip and then pinch it, so hard. Yeah.
Yeah, Chloe got the 91.06. I reckon late 80s for sure, maybe up into the 90s. I mean, we've not seen that, certainly on that obstacle. May, last trick attempt. Feeble grind 180 out, getting it done. Yeah, the crowd going wild. That was like a late 180 out.
Yeah, it was. I didn't expect that.
Wow, that was awesome. I thought for a little while that it was just a feeble.
Me too.
You saw that front arm dip down right at the end, bringing the shoulders round, taking the 180 out. So this is going to be interesting. 71.37 on the board already. Feeble 180 out. Not sure if it's going to be enough to get up there. It needs to be above 143.69, but that would then see Daniela popping down into the 9th place. 68.07, yeah, not enough, but a great debut there for May.
Yes.
Should be very, very proud of herself.
So young and so good in skateboarding. She should be proud.
Future of skateboarding is in very safe hands. Okay, pressure's on. Can Pamela deal with this pressure? She's in 11th place. Needs to get a big score to get up there.
Ha bisogno di 79-15 per entrare in 8ª posizione. In partenza.
Silent out here. Oh, missing the nose grind or the nose blunt slide. And she's saying thank you very much. I think the rail stuck quite a bit. But Pamela not doing enough to get through to the finals. Hopefully we'll see her out in Washington at our next stop. And we'll see her going through to finals there. Fingers crossed. So, Daniela is on that bubble position. And Nanami could take her out and move her off of that position. She's in 9th place. She needs an 88.27. Back 50-50, flip out, and it's not going to happen. She's so disappointed, but still smiling and saying thank you very much to everyone. You know that's going to happen one day for sure.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it doesn't work, but she got so far. She should be proud. And the trick is so gnarly, she tried to.
How hard is it to not be disappointed in yourself when you don't get that score that you wanted or make all the tricks?
Well, sometimes it's hard, but I feel like you just have to keep your head up and see how far you made it already. She like did so good, so yeah.
Just stay focused on the achievements. Because to get through to this stage of the competition is a big deal, isn't it?
It is.
Ibuki currently in second place. Whoa, going kickflip, maybe nose grind, and making very good friends with the floor there. But back up on her feet and saying thank you very much. That was a big slam. Last thing you want when you know you make it into finals. Please don't get too hurt. So we rattled through those last attempts. One more skater to go. Chloe Covell, will we see that nose grind nollie flip out? She's thumbs up saying she's ready to go. We check in. Ibuki looking okay. We've got a really good medical team out here. I'll check her out if needed. And we see current leader got a 91.06 in this section, 81.31 in the run section. That's 172.37, way ahead in the lead. But I'm sure she'd like to get just another go at this nose grind nollie flip out.
Yeah, I feel like too.
Here we go. Whoa, getting it done! Little bit of a toe touch, but seeing it all the way through. Frontside nose grind, overcrooked and locked.
Oh
that leaves her the ability to get that back foot ready and into nollie flip position. I can't wait to see the replay of that one. And look at that camaraderie. Everyone coming over and bigging it up. So good. So look at this. Wow. So gnarly. So locking it in with that front truck and the wheel, getting that back foot into position, scraping the back toe, but that's legit, isn't it, Liv?
It's crazy. So hard. You have to put your feet right so fast on this rail, so gnarly.
That's a huge trick. Still waiting for the score to come through. See what the judges are saying about that. I've seen her do that trick before. Not on this obstacle, though.
Me neither.
I heard rumours that she was getting it done in warm-ups or practice. And I've seen her do it on some long, long rails, but maybe not a rail this gnarly. You know, boosting off of that, kick her onto it. 89.41, so dropping that score unbelievably. I think because of the execution on that, she's not looking too happy, but I think the toe drag, they know she can do it perfectly. And I think the judges are just saying, nah, you got to clean it up.
Yeah,
you're lucky to get away with that.
She can do it better too.
So let's take a look at our current standings. Our semi-finals results. Chloe Covell out there in first place, but Daniela Terrell, great skateboarding today.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's skating the finals.
And Funa Nakayama getting through in there. Middle of the pack, Chenji getting in there as well. Really good to see. Coco Yoshizawa on the third place. And Ibuki Matsumoto in there as well. Hopefully she's not too hurt. And Pamela Rosa, unfortunately, out there, as well as Nanami, just outside of our top 8. Rayssa Leal not making it through. That's a big deal, isn't it, Liv?
It is, but sometimes that's skateboarding, and I feel like her knee bothered her like today too, so.
Yeah. Okay, third place running trick. Let's have a look at what went down. Big spin, frontside board slide, backside tail slide. Oh, that hurricane, so good. Skating really, really well. Coco definitely deserving to be in that third place position. And look at that kickflip frontside board slide. Landing really high up on the rail and getting a good, decent slide. And then Ibuki in second place. Showing full technical ability in both runs and trick section. And I think what was good is that she calmed down that second run and got a solid run.
Yes. The first run is so important. Like to have a run down and then go for the tricks. So important.
And then we saw that amazing kickflip frontside 50-50. I think that's one of the best ones we've ever seen in competition. Look at that landing. Looked like she was just on the way to the store to pick up some milk or something. And first place qualifier through to our finals, the amazing Chloe Covell. Switch flip, back Smith. And this is the thing with Chloe, she's doing tricks that other people are doing in the best trick section mid-run. Shows just how good she is. Top of her game. And with tricks like this, frontside 50-50, kickflip out, as good as that, you can see why she's our first place qualifier through. Landing bolts on that one. So here's our finalists. What's your prediction for tomorrow's competition, Liv?
Chloe, and I hope Daniela does good, and Yumika. Her tricks were crazy too. And I want to see Ibuki try that kickflip front nose, it seems like.
Yeah, for sure. And it would be Chloe's first ever win at a World Cup. You know, she's won everything else. She wants to get that win out here in Rome this year and tick that one off the box as well. So we have our men's competition coming up next. Liv, this has been amazing to hear your insights. Thank you very much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the competition. You're going to stick around to see the men's comp?
Yes, for sure. I'm hyped for that too.
Definitely. We're all hyped out here in Rome for our Street World Cup 2025. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our men's competition soon.
Sapete che cos'è il tricking?